James Powell Davies was one of the preeminent Unitarian preachers and church planters and social activists of his time. He was installed at All Souls Church in Washington in October of 1944. Through his social activism, he became quite popular with access to and influence among congressmen, justices of the Supreme Court, and the President of the United States. All Souls grew considerably during his tenure, and it was during a time of war, and rations were hard to come by. Rather than trying to build a larger sanctuary or hold multiple services, Davies promoted the establishment of 5 new congregations. He did it by broadcasting his sermons out to the suburbs, including to here in Arlington. Out of those 5 daughter churches, 3 granddaughter churches were born, and today the combined membership at All Souls and the churches it spawned is about 3,800. In his 1957 sermon, People Ask About God, Dr. Davies says this: "It is told in the Old Testament that Moses once asked God his name. The story is legendary, but it conveys a profound insight. For the answer of God to Moses is, 'I am that I am,' or 'I am that which is.' The meaning is, I am reality, the aliveness of reality, the breath of life in the world." And in the New Testament, as we have already seen, God is identified as spirit, which once again means aliveness, breath of life that is breathed into the soul. It's a pity that the simplicity and purity of these definitions is ever departed from. It's a pity that creeds say more than this are ever written. For in reality, they do not say more, they say less. Beyond this, there is room only for symbolism and poetry, the poetry that can tell our hearts what prose can never convey, bringing us the glow of a truth that is living, the fire of moral passion, the sweet wonder of all loveliness, all that is splendid and high with hope, all that is struggling and watered with tears, all that humankind at its best can become, all that humankind at its worst repents, all that is found and lost and sought and found again as we travel the paths of humanism, and then goes out beyond, far beyond the horizons, full of the power and the glory and the joy and the beauty and the strength and the wonder of God. So it's a reading. And this sermon is dedicated to Dr. Davies and all the founding members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington, some of whom are with us here today, some of whom are on retreat, including those early members of the congregation. And a special welcome back to Vera Tilson, who conducted the choir of this last election. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. Always design a thing by considering it in its next largest context. A chair in a room in a house in an environment, and an environment in a city plan. These words come to us from Elio Saarinen, the Finnish architect and father of Eero Saarinen, who would win the design competition for the monument to the westward expansion of the United States in St. Louis, Missouri. The quote appears in the museum in an exhibit, and I saw that exhibit while I was in St. Louis for the General Assembly of our Unitarian Universalist Association in 2006, and it stayed with me. In fact, I remembered it a slightly different way than the one that I just offered now. And the idea was more along the lines of this: to find the solution to any problem, look at its next largest context. Applied to human lives, the message is that our lives are fullest when they are inside a context that leaves us inspired. It's hard to be inspired when we live so much of our lives in an unconscious state. As we rush from activity to activity each day, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Paying bills, taking out the trash, picking up the children from practice perhaps can become drudgery. However, what if we pay our bills in the larger context of fiscal responsibility to create the possibility of buying a home? What if taking out the trash occurs in the context of creating a healthy and beautiful environment? And what if picking up the children becomes a communication of love and concern that will last them their whole lifetimes? At UUCA, we can think about the next largest context when we look about the congregation's participation and voice, Virginians organized for interfaith community involvement, as Louise spoke so eloquently a few moments ago. By participating in voice, UUCA is able to expand its power and its potency by joining up with other congregations in the area to make a difference in the areas of immigration, healthcare. Our online church, www.uucava.org. I was reading a post there this week, and Jude, I believe you posted it, in fact, the post about the 37,000 unique visitors onto that website.
47.
Among those, there are 25,000 repeat visitors coming from countries including Canada, Ireland, India, Germany, Australia, the Philippines, China, and France. Each of them has more than 100 visitors coming to our site. What is our responsibility? What is our response to our capacity to minister to millions of people around the world? If we let go of the idea of global domination, what might our global contribution be? What will membership mean here, now that we might extend it to people who may never enter the sanctuary? As has been mentioned, today is the last of what we're calling our renewal conversations in the context of the current capital campaign that is getting underway. However, I suspect that renewal conversations need to be an ongoing thing here. I suspect that's true. While it will be ending in the context of the capital campaign, we're going to constantly need to be having renewal conversations to address the important concerns of UUCA as it becomes part of a global community, a community where we can touch people's lives across the world. This is just the beginning of renewal. So do go to the renewal conversations today, if you haven't been to one already, but also remember that we're constantly having renewal conversations. Every time we encounter one another on Sunday here or come into this building, it's an opportunity for another opportunity to renew our commitment, to renew our convictions and our beliefs and our support for our liberal religious movement. Dr. Davies' description of God points us toward a larger context for our human existence. He essentially asks us to consider the fullness of our possibilities. I am that I am. I am that which is. I am reality, the aliveness of reality, the breath of life in the world. I am the breath of life in the world. And you are the breath of life in the world. As the choir sang so beautifully, we come out of the stars. If we understand ourselves in the context of such a miracle, such an improbability, what would our lives be like from day to day if we had that as our context? This is religion moving toward its best, creating a context in our living that calls us forth in the moment to all the possibilities and the fullness of what life could be. Now, I'll tell you about a moment where I was surprised by the context that I found myself in, and it turned out to be where I was handling my travel arrangements. I was disappointed that I wasn't booked in one of the main hotels where many of the activities were scheduled. I had a room at the Adams Mark Hotel, which sits near the banks of the Mississippi, about a 15-minute walk from the convention center. Oh, great, I thought, imagining that long hike back and forth at the start and the end of each day. As it turns out, the Adams Mark is literally across the street from the Gateway Arch, about a 5-minute walk. With the coaching of a friend of mine in St. Louis, I secured a room with a corner window from which I could see almost half of the arch. I don't think I've ever been quite so moved by the beauty of the monument, and I wasn't prepared for the impact it would have on me. I visited it as a child, but somehow I remembered it as having a dull stone facade, kind of like the Washington Monument. But now I saw it in a new way. I saw its luminous textured steel catching and drawing colors and light both day and night. I wanted to avail myself to a prayerful, powerful experience of the arch. One morning, before General Assembly actually started, and without setting my alarm clock, I found myself awake at 4:45 in the morning. I dressed myself in jeans and a black t-shirt and headed down to the monument and to the river with a song in my mind.